We are doing this, episode 331.
That's so many.
It is so many. Oh. We are here at Acme. This is No Laugh Track Podcast. I'm Justin Severson. I am here. Return guests, some of my favorites. Who isn't? Nate Abshire, Mike Lester. Fellas, I saw you last night. I'm seeing you again today.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. It's good to be here.
Great to be here.
I know I pulled you out of the sunny skies outside to come in here in a basement and hang out for an hour. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough pulling away from this kind of weather, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, man.
So last night, today's Thursday, Wednesday, yesterday. Everybody's
Correct.
with me.
The
here
natural
so far.
progression.
Thank you.
Makes
Thank
sense.
you. My drive over here to the show last night. I live on the other side of town. I live in St. Paul. So driving to Minneapolis, I drove past downtown St. Paul. Huge amounts of traffic going into downtown St. Paul last night for Michelle Obama.
Oh.
Then I read in the paper today that Mariah Carey did her first ever Twin Cities concert last night.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
So
what
the
you were up
traffic-
against. That's what I'm saying.
The traffic was for Michelle Obama or was for Mariah Carey?
Mariah was in Minneapolis.
Oh,
Was
okay.
the state, I believe.
All right. I don't know if they have much overlap in audience.
They probably did like a double header, like they went back to back.
Yeah, but
Mariah opened for
who
Michelle.
closes? Michelle?
Michelle does,
all right,
dude.
All right.
Michelle closes, you
That
think?
dance number, she starts flossing up there, and she talks about the education that she's going to do. I don't know politics. We should have Robert Burrell call in.
Call in?
Yeah.
I'm in Oklahoma.
Line 1, you're on the air.
Hey, it's Bobby. I got a grandma girlfriend.
That's my whole act. All right. Mike, that was so rude what you just said about Robert.
I'm nasty, dude. You got nasty.
Now I have to have him on soon to give his. No, I don't.
No, you don't.
No, all right. But do you think there are any crossover between Mariah Carey fans and comedy fans?
I think so. I think Mariah is one of those acts that it's a nostalgia factor more than anything else, right?
Right.
So I think it's possible that, you had bad taste as a child and then eventually started liking comedy. I'm kidding. Mariah's beautiful or whatever.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's a good save. She's beautiful or whatever. Great save.
Did I save it? I'll be honest, I've never listened to her music. I don't know if it's... I don't know.
Fair enough.
She's got some bangers.
Yeah?
Yeah, she's got some,
Name 2.
She's got some stuff that slaps. I'll probably name some Beyonce songs.
Yeah. Does she cover any Lizzo songs? Because then I'd be like, all right, let's hear it.
Did you see that Lizzo Ron Burgundy parody?
No.
What is this?
The jazz flute.
No.
Oh, it's so good.
I haven't seen that.
We'll link it in the app description.
Yes, we have to.
We'll link it in it.
All right.
It's good, dude.
So I want to say, once I got here last night, I passed up the Michelle and any other opportunity to see any other entertainment. I made the right choice. Great show last night, guys.
That's very nice of you.
Fun show.
Great show. Your thoughts on last night?
I had a lot of fun. It was a great time. Good crowd. Fun crowd. Let you take some chances.
Yeah.
That's the kind of crowd I want.
Yeah, I think Mike has rose-colored glasses of last night, mostly because Tuesday he ate shit.
Oh, okay.
So-
Let's go back here.
5 I ate.
Okay.
The
So on-
front 5 definitely pooped.
So on Tuesday he did so bad that Wednesday he was like, "This is amazing."
I don't know if that's
Low.
I did
low bar.
I did real good on Tuesday.
Let's
So
talk
Wednesday
about-
was just
let's talk
okay.
about your Tuesday set.
Let's go.
Let's talk about your Tuesday set. No, I don't want to talk about Tuesday. Tuesday's dead. Last night was good.
Okay, there was a guy eating Skittles during my set on Tuesday.
When that's the most notable thing, it wasn't your favorite set.
What?
All I remember is the guy eating his snack.
And was he also like in the back of the room?
No. He was like second row. I heard it rustle because, I was between uproarious laughter and punchlines.
Right.
And,
That millisecond.
yeah, just that one. While everyone was putting out the fire from the last joke, I heard him pull it out of his pocket. And I looked over, and he's right there, and he just kind of tears the corner off.
Oh, it wasn't even opened yet.
No.
Okay.
No, this was this is full on sneaking food into the theater level.
Yeah.
And
One Skittle at a time, or handful?
he didn't get to start eating them before I was
You called him
talking
out.
to him about it.
Wonderful.
It seemed like he was kind of bored with the show overall.
All
so he was
right.
just sifting through his pockets and like, oh, I still got Skittles.
What's in these pockets that'll entertain me? Let's see.
Fun detour.
Maybe I've got a Post-it note from work.
What's this? A bill I should pay? I'll take care of this now.
Tuesdays for the workers.
For the workers.
Tuesdays for the lovers.
Yeah, and then I brought up this guy's eating beans meme, and like
I got it.
3 people got it.
Got it.
Oh, I'm one that doesn't get it. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Didn't G. Cole post that on?
yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's a meme. It's like it was a Twitter thing where someone posted a picture of like apparently someone was eating baked beans, like took a container of baked beans into a movie theater and was eating them and then spilled them all over himself, and someone else in the theater said, this guy's eating beans, and everybody laughed at him, and then it just became an internet meme. I've also TV'd up the language there because it's got words I can't say.
You can say.
No, you can't. No, you can't say 'em.
Oh, okay.
But it's super funny. And so then this meme started of everyone like putting beans in things they don't belong in and posting pictures of it, like a high-heeled shoe full of beans, and it would say, this guy's wearing beans.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it was very funny.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever taken into a theater to eat?
I really want to say your mom.
That's why I'm saying.
He wants you to say his mom.
You know, I'm more of a buy popcorn there, and that's
You're
about
a sucker.
Yeah, I'm a real. Although when I was a kid, like my mom, 100%, we stopped at the gas station and bought snacks.
Now, and did you ever have, because I have 2 kids, and I have one that is not okay with that. Is very uncomfortable with sneaking food in.
Kid's
Oh
a narc.
no,
Kid's a narc,
dude.
Future narc.
You're gonna need to make them watch like Goodfellas and just to understand what happens to snitches in this family. I mean,
Shit.
no, I never had a moral problem with it. The one thing that always bugged me actually was when I was a kid, my dad, when we would go to the grocery store, he would pay for everything at the end, but he would also just grab a handful of peanuts.
Sure.
Oh,
And eat them as he was shopping.
Yeah.
Which was always just like, I don't think it was necessarily that the stealing bothered me. It was just the hickishness of it.
right.
like, come on, man. We can just shop normal.
Yeah.
Or
you've already decided you were going to pay for almost everything. Just everything.
Or like grab a soda in the chilled section and then drink it while you're shopping and then put it on a shelf before you leave.
No.
Yeah.
I do that at Target with chicken tenders. I just take chicken tenders and eat them while I pretend to shop and then throw them away in like the sports section.
Yep. Just to be clear, though, the second one about drinking a soda while you're shopping, that's what I do. He didn't do that.
Okay.
He was
Full
a peanut.
meals.
He was a peanuts guy.
I do full meals with dipping sauce. I'm like,
Mike's here shopping, eating lasagna.
yeah.
Did you ever watch that TV show, The Boondocks, the cartoon?
Oh, I love that.
I haven't.
Do you remember there was an episode of that show where Grandpa brings food into the theater and he takes his jacket off and he has like a whole turkey, like the whole Thanksgiving meal?
We would do that with Subway when I was younger. We get like the footlongs and just take them and eat Subway. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I was older, we would always sneak a flask in and buy a large drink half of it, then dump the whole flask in it.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how my dad drove a bus.
We better buy a ticket for all the whiskey in my tummy.
His super sipper. His horrific tasting super sipper.
Mike, I saw in your Instagram, or maybe one of your social medias I follow,
yeah.
you posted a picture of a fella that you claim to be your dad?
That is my dad.
That's your dad?
That's my dad.
Wow.
Was he, yeah, he's looking good.
Uh-huh.
He's slimming down.
Yeah.
I got a really nice photo of him right now showing off all his rings on one hand.
What does that mean?
I haven't seen these at all.
He just looks like a mafia leprechaun. He's like, just chilling today. And I like see his CPAP machine in the background. I'm like, just in your room trying to be cool. I love it, dude.
That's amazing.
It's so funny. The best picture I have of him is he's in like an all green outfit, like total like mafia leprechaun, and he's got his belt on with suspenders, and he's got no shoes on, and he's showing off his new like sleeve tattoo of roses. We like to joke that the only one that's ever gotten my dad flowers is himself.
Now, I don't remember. Is he retired from this bus driving job?
Yeah, he was forced into retirement.
Forced?
Yep, he was forcibly retired.
What kind of scandal gets you forcibly retired?
He just didn't show up for 2 years.
2 years?
He just used all his paid time off, which was like 2 years.
Well, that's my kind of guy. I'm going to be
that's kind of
honest.
genius.
Yeah, I'm into that.
In those 2 years, he'd eat like 3 Big Macs a day. You know, very self-destructive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that impulse as well.
Yeah.
Right. Mike, on stage last night, you said something about delivering pizzas.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Doing that part
You still at Domino's?
I'm still at Domino's.
Nice.
Me and Aaron, dude, together.
That's fun.
Yesterday, Aaron gave our manager a weed cookie, and they didn't know it was a weed cookie. And I'm like, you gotta tell them.
Yeah, you gotta tell them, man.
An hour later, they just have their hands in the cheese, like they're doing prep, and they just put their hands in the cheese. And I watched them. It was like 2 minutes of them just sifting through the cheese, like, oh, this feels so good. I'm like, Cody is lit as fuck, man. Cody's so lit.
I'm like terrified of baked goods now because
All baked goods.
just because weed gives me panic attacks, and I'm always worried that someone's gonna be like, "Oh, you want a brownie?"
Have you ever been dosed by somebody with everything? By anything, I mean? Pardon me.
No. Never, like, no one's ever snuck it on me.
Yeah.
But I was really into temporary tattoos when I was a kid because I wanted to trip, but it never happened.
Yeah. Lick and stick, dude.
Yeah.
Lick and stick, baby. Hell yeah.
That doesn't, when you say it doesn't sound like
Lick
it's
and
about
stick,
temporary tattoos.
Lick and stick it. Yeah. That's my mantra for 2019.
It's a terrible 2019 mantra.
Dude, yeah. I'm going to get in trouble. It's hard to get dosed with edibles, though, because they just taste. I mean, there's some that really don't, but
Most of them, you're like,
of them, it's
oh,
like-
it tastes like there's weed in here.
yeah, this is hash. I'm just eating hash right now, right? Hash with chocolate chips.
Do you have a favorite edible, Mike Lester?
My favorite when I was really into them were Chiba Chews. They're like weed Tootsie Rolls, and they're like quad doses for one Tootsie Roll. And my dad and I, we would like split them and go hiking, and we would be like crawling by the end of the hike. But I have never felt more oxygenated in my life. You know what I mean? I was like, God, there's so much oxygen in my brain right now. I might pass out, dude, from all this fucking oxygen.
So much oxygen.
Yeah.
Oh, if only Chiba Chews could use that for a commercial.
I tweet at him once in a while, just like, let me be your spokesperson. But that's Joey Diaz's realm now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he just eats them like fucking 4 at a time.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. Yowza. What do you guys, as comedians, you get, I think you addressed, or a lot of people are addressing it these days, like, oh, you're going to offend somebody by saying the wrong thing, or, don't go on this topic or whatever. I know it doesn't happen here. Have you guys ever worked somewhere where they tell you, like, don't stay away from this topic or that topic, or
No.
never?
I've never been told that.
That's
No, I've had, like, if you're featuring, I've had headliners tell me things they don't want me to do.
Because they have it in their act, or because it's going to set the wrong
Either. I mean, both, I guess, is the actual answer. Both of those have happened. But I've never had a venue tell me anything like that.
Yeah.
I think also, like, people getting offended is usually something that seems to happen on the internet as opposed to live shows.
Yeah. They'd rather tell you over the keyboard.
Yeah, well, not just that, but I think people in real life are generally a lot more. It's a lot less black and white. That's not the right, not the right thing to use. But I think in real life people aren't as, angry about everything as they are on the internet.
Maybe not as angry face to face.
Yeah, I don't.
After shows, I've had people tell me.
Sure, I've had people
Like
tell
what?
me about jokes that they didn't like.
Yeah, recently I did the gonorrhea bit at a show, and a guy came up to me afterwards and he was just like, I just really didn't like that. And I was like, you think I like getting it? You know what I mean? Like,
So,
it's the way it is.
what? I've heard you do the joke like twice now, but I don't know. Can you tell? Like, how'd you 10th grade?
So
This is a joke, or this part of this is a joke you're doing right now, right?
if you break it down, so I like backtracked, and I remember I tried to do it when I initially got, because I was already doing comedy, so that would have placed me at like 17, and I was like seeing this girl that went to University of Minnesota Rochester, and I got it from her, came back up, and then like 4 days later. It all went down.
Okay. So you were 17.
It all went down. I don't know how I landed on 10th grade. I guess it would be like 11.
It's funnier.
Yeah,
it's funnier.
I guess
Leave
it.
Leave it.
Yeah,
But-
I'll leave it. It's left in there. I went on to date her for like a year after that.
What? Why aren't you saying that?
Because I'm dumb, dude. Because I don't want to bring them into it. I just want to destigmatize STDs.
So
Thank God someone finally is.
I'm taking a stand.
So when you found out that you had it, did you call her? Sorry, this is just becoming an interview of Mike. Did you call her and be like, "Hey, we have gonorrhea"? Like, what was that?
Absolutely. I was like, do you have it? Because I do. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, which, in the long run was a lie. So.
Did you get it again from her?
No.
Okay, so she got it treated.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
Or did you remain celibate after that?
No, not at all. I was just grateful.
I heard one of my friends told me this story, which is the most baller thing I've ever heard. But one of them, I guess they were probably both being unfaithful, or they were ethically non-monogamous, or whatever. But she found out that she had chlamydia, and so they were like, they just gave her an extra set of antibiotics for her partner. So your
nice,
partner
dude.
has it too, and so she was like, I just went home and threw him the bottle and was like, you got to start taking these. And it wasn't a big deal, and I'm like, man, you guys are way cooler about
that's
this.
The best doctor ever, dude.
Right?
You saved the office visit fee. That's awesome.
I guarantee I've never confessed this on this podcast or in public, but I had to do I don't remember what age, older than 17, but I had
Yeah, you weren't a player, dude.
I had to
go down to Rochester and go to all the raves that you
woof.
I had to go get the Q-tip in the pee hole and then tell someone that I was not really dating at the time, just kind of seeing very casually that...
Did you get something?
What the hell was it? I had to take some kind of antibiotics.
Okay.
I don't remember
So that's
what it
a
was.
yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I had something. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't remember what.
I don't remember what it was.
Pill to treat syphilis.
All right, well, don't drink after this guy. Jesus. Being real loosey-goosey about your STD diagnosis.
This is decades ago,
A lot
gentlemen.
of blanks.
Yeah.
A lot of blacked out sections on that document. I don't know, but I took pills for it. Well, you got something, buddy.
Redacted, baby. This was before the HPV vaccine, you understand.
This is why I ask the questions, because I don't know how to answer them clearly, all right? I only know how to ask.
They were placebo pills, just to make me feel cool.
That's right, yeah. So I was bragging to my friends. It got rid of something, and I was very...
I've never had one, but I have thought that I've had them so many times.
Yeah.
That when I was in college, the doctor at the clinic that I always went to was like, look, man, we tell everyone to get tested so that the people that need to get tested get tested.
Sure.
You're okay.
Oh.
I think he was basically like trying to say like having sex 3 times a year isn't a great risk of AIDS. But every time I'm just such a hypochondriac.
Now, before we started recording, that bit of yours, we were talking about other shows and how you were saying that you moved it in the set, Mike.
In the set, yeah.
And it worked better.
Oh yeah, Tuesday.
Why?
Tuesday, I really didn't plan anything out, and I was kind of in my
It showed.
It was, yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I was kind of in my head about another thing too. Like my friend passed away on Monday, so it's still hard. He was 29, really good dude. But I was just really in my head. But Wednesday, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to his memorial show. I'm just going to actually like write a proper set list, which is, something I don't usually do. But I really just need to get a handle on it. And I moved gonorrhea like 10 minutes later where it belongs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't open on gonorrhea.
You can't.
It's like the I have herpes conversation is not a first date conversation.
Yeah.
It's a before sex conversation. But it's not a first. You can't be like, hey, how you doing? I have herpes, because then everyone you meet is going to be like, hey, goodbye.
Yeah, I want them to get to know me.
Right.
Get to know
me. You before they're
and then talk about how I was a whore
before they find out you've had VD since you were a wee child.
Not since it was treated.
Since.
It's gone.
I mean, who's to say?
I don't know.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I had an order problem too last night as opposed to Tuesday, because I was switching the order from Tuesday, but then I forgot to do 10 minutes of jokes at the front end, and so it tanked. Forgot?
Wait,
It
forgot?
tanked like 3 of my jokes. Do you remember last night at like the 30-minute mark?
I remember the 30-minute mark.
Of course.
Of Nate's set.
No, but I'm going to tell you but it was 30 minutes in when I just like got stuck, and I was like, I checked the time, and then I was like, oh wow. I said, oh wow, we're really blowing through this.
Yes.
Okay, that was because I forgot to do 15 minutes of jokes at the beginning of my set.
I see.
And then that threw off the whole order, where I just like skipped over them because I am an idiot. I don't have a great excuse like fucking Mike, but
what an excuse.
I know. I mean, if only someone could die before every show. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. No, it's not.
Man.
Not okay.
It's all good.
I mean, someone probably does. We just don't know.
Oh yeah, during the show too.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. We're doing great. But anyway, so it tanked like all of my stuff that was supposed to be later in the set. I think.
See.
So I'm, it's sometimes you learn a lot, and sometimes you're like, well, I made one mistake super early, and that's the only takeaway.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's no coming back from some of the
At least
things.
you have the ability to like recognize it, though. You're not like one of those guys that are just like, well, it was just the crowd.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I'm fucking solid. Like any order I do, a minute is rocking. Like I've run into so many of those derps.
yeah, I mean, I think that it's weird because stand-up requires so much, to me at least. I think that in order to be good at it, which I'm not, but you need to be objective, but also be able to move on.
Yes.
Where you need to be able to realize when you're making mistakes, but also dwelling on them is usually not super helpful.
No.
Yeah, I think that there's with any crowd, there's a switch to flip that breaks it. Brody Stevens is a guy that all I've heard is that he broke every room he walked into. And even on shows where every other comic is just bombing and can't figure it out, and he would walk in and just break them open.
Isn't that amazing?
Which is amazing, and that's just part of I think that's just part of the toolkit of doing it for a long time. But also, he was amazing. I mean, not to take anything away from him, obviously.
And he always had a plan. He was very good at like assimilating a plan very quickly for a specific room.
Yeah.
Like that industry night story.
Yeah, that one's my favorite.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
incredible.
Did you guys ever cross paths with him?
No, I never met him. I've heard amazing things about him.
I was describing him to somebody who had no idea who he was just the other day. I'm like, all I can say is the responses from other comedians. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
A lot of there's a significant number of comedians that die young, unfortunately.
Sure.
And I've never seen, as far as I can remember, the reaction, the positive, people just loved this guy so much.
He was, yeah. I don't know enough about him to say more, really, but
Sure.
but he seems like he was just amazing. I never got to see him live, which, from what I've heard, is where he was completely unstoppable.
His Comedy Central show is like super underrated too. Enjoy it. Mm-hmm. That's like just watching the clips from that show. It's like he was always on, and he could just take just like a description of a trip he went on and just make it the funniest segment you've ever seen in your life. Yeah.
Right.
Have you guys been following along on Twitter for Gary Gulman's comedy writing tips?
Right now, the hashtag. Yeah, I love those, man. Those are great.
Yeah.
I look at those every day.
There's a couple I'm going to bring up here, but before I get to that page in my iPad,
Gulman's not getting enough press. Let's get him on this pod. I'm kidding.
It's not about him specifically. Jesus. I had to look up, because I must be living under a rock. I'd never heard of safety camps, Mike Lester.
Yeah.
Did you know about safety camps before Mike Lester talked about it on stage?
That bit's pretty old, right? Because I've heard it.
Revamped.
Well, I'm not saying that you didn't change it. I'm just saying I first heard the bit like 5 years ago or something, right? Yeah. I'm not. My whole act right now that I'm doing this week is like 6 years old, so I'm not.
Yeah, you got to upgrade Xbox.
Yeah. I was thinking of
Shit's on your Switch.
Xbox has such a good sound to it.
Yeah. People still play Xbox.
I hope that at least, since it's Xbox One, people just assume that that's what I mean.
For brevity.
Right. But
I don't think it matters.
Tim Apple, here it's brevity.
All right. Yeah. Short version, fuck you, Mike. I've heard of safety camps, but I can't remember if it was when I first heard Mike do the joke or earlier in my life.
Funny. That's awesome.
I first heard it in 2012 when Mike troped that premise out onto the stage.
So I looked up safety camps.
Good.
And it gave me some I found some in like every freaking city in Minnesota has their own.
They're day camps. You just go to like the community center and run around that, and then you go indoors like 3 times a day to talk to like either a motorcycle crash victim or like an animal control expert.
Cool.
Yeah. The guy's like, I'm going to draw SpongeBob with my mouth. And it's like, we're all traumatized.
I feel like when your parents send you to those, they're just prepping you for the DUI class you're going to take later.
They're prepping me for stand-up. They're like, here's a gold nugget.
Look, we know you're going to have to take a DUI class, and they're going to tell you about all the crashes, and we don't want you to break down and embarrass the family. So
yeah. Very similar to the victim statements you'll be hearing.
Right.
Oh man, I remember the guy. He like drew SpongeBob, then offered it. He's like, "Who wants it?" No one volunteered.
Oh
no! Was it in Minnesota?
Yeah, it was in Crystal, Minnesota. By you know where the Crystal Target is?
Okay,
it's right by the meth Target, actually.
Yeah, you know where it is. Yeah. Meth Target. Yeah, and like we're down the valley, and Old Country Buffet used to be. It was in that like.
I'm really not proud of that joke.
The meth Target?
Yeah.
It's a riff. It's not a joke.
I mean, it's still,
You can edit this out.
Yeah, right. There you go. What age did you go?
I went.
Curious.
I went 7, 8, and 9. I went 3 years. Couldn't get enough.
Was it?
You couldn't learn
how
enough.
How long was it? Like, was it a full day one time? Or several days in a row?
Full day, 4 days a week for 2 weeks.
Holy shit.
These are way more than... I can tell you right now, guys, Blaine has one that we could all attend later this year. We're a little old. It's mostly for people aged up to 14.
If a safety camp is for children but lets adults enroll, I feel like you fail the first test.
Yeah.
Shut her down.
Camp.
Like that bus this week or last week that let on the fucking pedophile. Like some guy just wandered on. Like nobody's paying attention.
Like onto a school bus?
Yes. Convicted pedophile walked onto a school bus.
Why? Was he like dressed like a kid or
No.
was he youthful looking?
Yeah,
They were out on a field
he
trip.
He did that thing that they do in porn videos where a 30-year-old is a teen. Just put a bow in his hair and put glasses on.
Anyone want to see my Game Boy?
Just waiting to get picked up by my parents.
You guys play Game Boy Advance? That's how it tips you off his outdated.
Hello, fellow children.
He wants to see my Pogs.
Man, I remember Pogs in 6th grade. So it was 6th grade for me. Pogs were super huge, and then I got salmonella. Not from Pogs. Unrelated to Pogs.
I've never heard of that connection.
And then I came back 4 days later with my Pog binder, and I was like, who wants to play Pogs? And everyone was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's how fast
They'd already
that
moved on.
fad died. It was like a week and a half, and everyone was like, this is fucking stupid.
Lame.
So anyway, guy walks onto a bus.
No.
What a couch sig.
The punchline,
Yeah.
he's a pedophile.
No, just one more thing I want you guys to know about safety camp and learning about, be aware of your surroundings. In Blaine, $10 more than it is in St. Paul
That makes
for the same program. That's all I'm saying.
Blaine, it's a more rigorous curriculum.
Is it?
They don't just show you the bread, they teach you how to make it.
Yeah, they actually show you escape routes from the Northgate Mall.
That's what was so scary about it, was there was a whole day dedicated to like evading predators, and they'd be like, you're on a bike. A guy comes up and grabs you. What do you? It's like, no, none of us know what to do, man. And they're like, you get off the bike and you push the bike into him and run away.
The one.
That was it.
And then they're like, his legs are longer. He catches you. What do you do? This is starting to feel less like training and more like a weird story.
Roll for your dexterity. Dungeons and Dragons now? Roll your dexterity die. You rolled a 5. You're getting...
Need a reflex save. All right, you've been tortured for 14 days straight and haven't seen sunlight. Roll fortitude.
Roll a die 8 for your survival. What's your survival point? +3. Oh, you're dead.
Should have paid attention in Boy Scouts, kid.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh,
St.
that's
Paul's safety camp ends with an ice cream social, by the way.
Yeah, we got that and a roller skating party.
All right.
Did you leave with a T-shirt? Because all these end also.
Oh, yeah, you all get divided into colors of teams, and you get your T-shirt. I still got mine. They're in my mom's house somewhere.
Yeah?
Neatly folded in my old bureau.
So your mom doesn't throw shit away either?
Not at all.
Yep, mine.
He's like, you might need these. And I'm like, would I fucking go back? Like,
I bag on my mom so much for all the shit she keeps, but I recently got my JV football practice shirt, and it fits me.
perfect.
But it used to fit over pads. Right?
Well, let's not. Okay, look. And I was really happy to have that. It's got my name on it and shit.
Was it like
also
Was it mesh?
No. It's it's cotton.
It's
just a tee.
It's a Gildan.
But it's our mascot was the Cougars. So I got a shirt that says Cougars on it, which would have been a really funny joke 12 years ago.
Say, yeah.
I might turn my old safety camp shirts into belly tank top.
Oh, that'd be so hot.
Oh God.
That's that bit writes itself.
Repurpose, baby.
It's pretty on brand for you too.
I could sell it to one of these resale places in Uptown. B would give me my own corner, just creepy old shirts made into belly shirts.
They all kind of smell like my dad, but get after it.
Scent of Joe corner.
Oh God.
What? He smells fine.
Yeah?
I don't know. I haven't
seen him.
I haven't smelled my dad in 2.5 years. So.
Either of you guys have merch after the shows these days?
Yeah, dude. Leston show. Couldn't sell it last night, but I'll be selling them. When does this drop?
Today.
Hell yeah, selling them all weekend. Come get them. $20. American Apparel quality tee.
They're nice. They're nice. Mid-range American Apparel.
Mid-range.
What does that mean?
It's not the super soft, but
Soft enough.
But it's soft. I mean, they're nice.
American Apparel doesn't have just one standard?
No. You can go.
I think about that. I don't know.
You can go hard.
Super soft is crazy expensive.
It's super nice though.
Super expensive.
Yeah, I'm a super soft. I don't sell. I wouldn't sell them, but I buy them.
Okay.
I'm not on the Ali Wong level.
Yeah, I don't have merch right now because I'm lazy.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like one internet interaction, and you could have like 50 of them.
Yeah. I mean, look. Let's not get into it. I don't want to get into.
Do either of you guys have stuff playing on like Spotify or Pandora?
I think I have right now I have one track on a compilation record that came out like a year after I started doing comedy.
Oh my goodness. Do you like that that's out there?
I don't even remember what the joke is.
Great. That's perfect.
But other than that, no. I need to record an album so I can start getting...
Get the spins.
Yeah. I mean, I recorded with Chad Daniels last week, and I mean, he's super funny, but his success recently, he gets so many spins on freaking...
Right, well, he's also amazing, so... I think that has a lot to do with how many people are listening to his...
Sure.
Spin doctor.
But you gotta have a product out there for people to hear it.
Yes.
I just learned within the last year, I didn't know that, I think Brian Miller told me, that you could have, material out there on those sites and not have it actually come from an actual, album. Just to have...
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Do you, Mike?
I have I don't have anything on Spotify or anything. Like I have a thing on the Pluto TV app.
All right.
I have clip through Comedy Dynamics. That was like the worst set of my life that I got put on comedy.
Do you get residuals for that?
I do.
Oh, nice.
I do. It supports the magic habit.
All right.
Oh, here's a booster pack. Hell yeah. $4.
Sick.
Yeah.
Are you still doing a podcast?
I am. We're approaching our 50th episode.
Nice.
We're gonna do a live show, probably at Sisyphus Brewing. Got to make just got to reach out to them and
talk about what it's about.
Do a little fibbing. We just talk about Magic the Gathering, and we kind of skew away from strategy and go more into like the culture, and we talk about the lore a lot of Magic the Gathering. There's like a deep history of just like the different planes and universes and the planeswalkers. And if you don't know Magic, you don't understand what I'm talking about. But we have fun. A lot of character work.
I mean, we laugh.
We do, and that's pretty much why we do it. We're like, once we stop enjoying it, we'll stop. But we have fun doing it.
How much of the podcast is really about Magic the Gathering?
About 10 minutes, I would say, and the rest is making fun of our co-host, Zach Kagan. I would say
okay.
That's about
10 minutes of an hour?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
no, it's more than that. But we sprinkle stuff in. We recently tour introduced sound drops, so that's been fun. He introduced this sound drop from this movie where it's like, it's your life or mine, butthorn. And he just plays it over and over to interrupt.
Sounds like you guys started out super nerdy and are slowly verging to morning radio.
Yeah. We hope to get a deal with KQ by the end of 2019.
Boo.
And so I was like,
shoot higher.
Shoot higher?
Yeah.
We hope to get XM Sirius.
There you go.
A serial satellite.
There you
radio
go.
show.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, we have fun doing it. It's a fun way. We have a decent following that appreciates it, and hopefully we can branch off into live shows. And it's just a fun extra thing to do.
That's awesome.
A little extra content,
Yeah, it's all about that content,
It's all
baby.
about the content.
That's what I've been saying for years.
And?
Stuff.
Well, I mean, I've been telling people, and it's working for them. Not for me, but
That's how Nate and I really connected was over Magic the Gathering, because Nate was like an OG Magic player.
it's true.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah,
No kidding.
yeah. I played Magic when.
It meant something.
Yeah, like back when, I mean, we had to walk uphill to the card store both ways.
Those days, yes.
No, I played from right before 4th edition was when I played.
That's crazy.
Which is like 90. I played like 95 or 96 to like 98.
You're like Arabian Nights.
No, it was after Arabian.
It was after Arabian Nights? Okay, so it could have been.
What iteration are they on now?
Now they're on like Allies of Ravnica.
No, what's the core set? Is it 10?
It's core set. They go by year now, so it's like core set 2019.
Oh, but how many? If it was still the old numbering method,
I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head.
I mean, it's been a few years.
Yeah.
But like I played competitively.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Like there were tournaments. Like with cash prizes and stuff.
Yeah.
Cash prizes.
Yeah, there's a whole culture. There's like a pro tour and stuff. Like Hasbro's kind of ruining it, but there's still a pro.
Yeah, I was
Big Toy is ruining it.
It is, because now it's like basically they pick 30 pro tour players a year, and it's not off of how you do like competitively like in state tournaments, because it used to be like you'd win a city thing, you'd win a state thing, you go to nationals, then you go to worlds,
regionals before nationals.
Yeah. Then you just pick now they just pick 30 people like fucking Willy Wonka. And it's like
golden tickets,
the worst thing ever. Yeah.
I think I got 7th in the '98 Southwest Regional Juniors.
No shit.
God, you gotta have that as a credit somewhere.
Be introduced.
And
the thing is
that 7th is really misleading because, so I was undefeated in the group stage, the Swiss round, and then and my last match of the Swiss round before the finals or semifinals, I was playing against a guy that I'd been hanging out with all day. And the way the decks matched up, we both knew I was going to destroy him. And so before the game, he was like, "You want to just draw?" And like I knew that I draw into the finals. Like there's no way that I don't make it. And he gets in with a draw, maybe. So I was like, "Sure." So I drew into the finals, and that seeded me where I had to play the first place guy, the only other undefeated guy, and it was a mirror matchup. We had the same deck, and his sideboard was better than mine. Which these are all words that Justin doesn't understand. But
not
but
all
anyway,
of them,
so I
for
played
sure.
against the first place guy, lost to him, and that's single a limb at that point, so I'm out. But I would have beaten everyone else there. So really, it's second place, Southwest Juniors Regional.
All right, asterisk.
It wasn't
Next to that.
fair.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that it wasn't fair; it's that I wasn't ruthless enough.
Yeah, you fucked yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I take responsibility for that. I'd do it again, though.
Is Magic the Gathering like video games where the average age 30 years ago was like a teenager, and then it's people
all
just
over
keep
the
getting
place.
older and keep playing?
I think
Is it the same
Magic
thing?
keeps older players and has a lot of new ones.
Okay.
Yeah, the drafts I go to, I'm playing like 12-year-olds.
Yeah, I don't
real?
play live
Oh, yeah.
anymore at all.
Losing to them, that feels good.
They came out with an actual decent internet client, so whenever I want to play, I play on that. It's called Magic Arena.
Okay. How about like the closest thing I did to that was Dungeons and Dragons? Is that even close? That has some similarities, right?
I mean, you do it at the same places.
Yeah, right.
The places, like when I was
play adjacent to it.
Yeah, it's definitely Magic adjacent. I mean, there aren't a lot of people, I'll put it this way, there aren't many people in the 90s, at least when I was playing games like this, that played Magic and didn't play D&D or vice versa.
Okay, sure.
Like if you played D&D, you were playing Magic before everyone got there for the session. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was kind of just that kind of thing.
Oh, I get that.
I would love to get a comics D&D campaign together. Not for like content, just to play.
Yeah.
It's been done to death, but I just love RPGs.
Yeah,
So,
they're super fun.
they're just my favorite.
I had man, I played so much D&D as a kid.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What was your best character?
I
You a
had
sexy woman dwarf?
no. I almost exclusively played chaotic neutral halfling rogues.
Okay.
And all I did, like, because I had a couple friends, like my best friend always played lawful neutral wizards.
Okay.
And so his character and my character were always at odds, and it was fucking hilarious all the time. Like, one of my favorite gigs was to go into the inn and steal someone's money and then hide while they start accusing people of stealing their money. And then what I'd do is I'd wait until the drama starts to unfold and then plant it on somebody. Or
Wait, this is sort of like a joke you have about dog poop and people finding it and not knowing it's you.
Sure, yeah. I mean, but like I just loved causing chaos, not in the like sort of like in the downtime, because in D&D there's like a lot of parts where like, oh, you go to the inn and town to rest up between dungeon adventures kind of thing. Like, you know, I was always on point for the dungeon adventures. I had a job to do, but when we went to town, I would fuck with everybody, and it was pretty great. But I think my favorite character I ever had was actually in college. I played for like a year. I found this session, and which was, I did most of that in high school, but I made a character that was, he was a sorcerer, and he had a natural 18 charisma, which is the high. He was like the most charismatic person in the world.
Bananas.
George Clooney.
And an 8 intelligence and an 8 wisdom. And I played.
He's a sociopath.
He was so dumb. Like 10 intelligence is average. Like 10 intelligence voted for Donald Trump.
He's like Brendan Dassey level.
Right. He was like, I played him like Derek Zoolander.
Did you take the gold? Yeah.
No. I was.
Tell us where you put the gold.
I based him a lot of, because here's the thing, Dassey doesn't have charisma.
He kind of does.
So I played him like Zoolander, Derek Zoolander.
Oh yeah.
And it was super funny. And there was just like, one of the best jokes is, so as in that game as a spellcaster, you have a familiar, which is a little companion, like a little animal, and I had a ferret.
Sick.
And as you level up, they get smarter.
Okay.
And by the time I was like level 6, my ferret was smarter than me. And so my favorite act out was whenever it was my watch, because you have, like, when you're sleeping in the wilderness, someone keeps watch to make sure monsters don't sneak up on you.
Right.
I would refuse to roll my spot and listen checks, and I would play cards with my ferret. But I would only do it when no one else was awake, because he always won. Because he was way smarter than me.
I love the companion aspect of like RPGs. Like this game I'm playing, Pillars of Eternity, like as you level up you can get more companion animals. So now I just have like 4 pigs that follow me around and do nothing. They just stand outside while I battle.
I wish that was real life and you walked around with 4 pigs.
Yeah, I wish you had.
We're getting towards that.
Companion
2 dogs.
animals.
He just
We're
got
on the
another.
right track.
Yeah, you like companion animals in real life too.
They're getting along too. It's great.
Oh, great.
They're getting along. Today was good. We walked them together. The bloodhound was kind of off doing her own shit most of the walk, but
Yeah, like bloodhound shit.
yeah, bloodhound shit. Yeah, howled at a kid with his hood up. So
Nice.
That's promising.
Yeah. Got a racist dog. That's pretty
profiling
cool.
right there.
Hey, it was a white kid, all right. She just doesn't like strangers, or buses, or the UPS truck.
Strangers is code.
Yeah, this feels like some dog whistle stuff.
Well, she's from Mississippi, so.
Draw your own conclusions.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
Right.
Nate, are you any relation to the Nathan Abshire that came up on Apple Music when I searched your name?
No.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah. He's from the same area that I'm from, and we are probably distantly related. Like, most Abshires are descended from 3 brothers that immigrated to the United States. So but not like, he's not like my uncle or anything like that. I mean, he at closest I'd guess would be like 10th cousin or some shit.
Okay.
But he's like the grandfather of Zydeco music. He's widely considered to be one of the people that made Zydeco music mainstream.
So
as much as it ever has been.
Right. So this is probably a really dumb guy question. I'm going to ask it. So when you, back in Louisiana, people heard your name growing up. Were they like, oh, did anybody make a connection?
No,
was he famous enough to be like, oh, dude?
He is, but he died a while ago. And also, Abshire is a much more common name.
So it wouldn't
I
even
live.
catch people's attention.
Right. There's tons of Nate Abshire.
There's another Nate Abshire, yeah. He did help bring the blues and honky-tonk to Cajun music, and he repopularized the accordion.
Well, the accordion's like the mainstay of Zydeco.
Are you an accordion fan?
That's due for a resurgence.
I mean, I'll be honest. I don't think that I listen to much music with an accordion.
Mariah Carey. She just whips it out the XL.
She can match that note for note all the way up and down the scale.
Billy Joel or some shit.
A renewal of interest to Cajun and folk music during the 70s gave Abshire a chance to play several festivals and colleges, and he even starred in the 1975 PBS TV Cajun documentary Good Times Are Killing Me. Huh?
Kind of a bummer.
Man,
title.
it's way better than my bio, but
You should use his bio.
The title proved prophetic. However, as Abshire fought alcoholism,
can you say Nathan instead of just Abshire?
Nah, stick with Abshire.
as Nathan Abshire fought alcoholism during his last years, he died.
Don't we all?
He died in 1981. Rest in peace, Nathan.
And then he was born again 2 years later. Let's go, boys!
Reincarnated.
I'm back.
I got a ferret.
I'm actually from. I'm from the same town, Kaplan, Louisiana, as Sammy Kershaw, who's a famous country singer.
Yeah.
And Pistol Pete Maravich.
Basketball player.
Yes.
Yes.
Also a lesser-known country. No, I'm kidding.
He had a couple hits.
He played the accordion. It's weird.
He had a couple hits. Is there? Are you going to record anytime soon, though? I mean, I heard you mention something last night on stage. Was that just a joke?
Did I? I don't. Well, I posted about. So I do want to record. And I don't have a label or a recording date. And I don't yet know what material I want on the album. That's kind of what I'm trying to figure out this week. Is I want to figure out a bare bones of what I want to put on. So I've been doing a lot of my older jokes, because the 4 kind of chunks of jokes that are the oldest in my act make up 45 minutes if I do all of them.
Gotcha.
Most shows that I do 2 of them, and then I'll fill in the rest of the time with newer stuff that I'm working on. But I want to record soon. I'm hoping to get it done this year. And so I've been much more focused, the sets that I've been doing lately, on trying to figure out, I don't know, like recorded. I think I'm just going to record a demo and then move to LA. I'm kidding.
I was going to say, what? Really?
And then you just...
Brave.
Yeah. And then if no one wants to listen to it, you fucking hijack a radio station.
Yeah. There you go. Play it over and over.
Until they fucking play it.
Or you just put it out for free until someone buys that shit.
All right.
Someone's like,
well,
damn, that was...
I really liked my takeover a radio station idea,
Okay.
but...
Well, you know what? I support you.
Are you guys both living here still full time? Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. I live with my significant other in Nokomis, South Minneapolis.
Yeah.
I still try to get out to LA for some 4-week spurts.
Okay.
Every year.
Don't say spurts like that.
4-week spurts. I'm going out for a spurt next Wednesday.
Woof.
I'm spurting it up out there from March 20th.
That's the
to
grossest.
April 16th.
I'm
The year of the spurt.
I'm going out there in April.
Really? Mm-hmm. When?
Probably once you leave. I don't know why.
I can help. I'll stake out some radio stations.
Thank you.
Like Nate.
Yeah, tell me where the security is weak. You guys get that that's an Airheads reference, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
I did, yeah.
good.
Uh-huh.
I didn't.
All right, yeah, I thought...
I just like the idea of you ruining your life by jacking a radio station.
I mean, honestly, of all the ways that I've ruined my life, that one is the most interesting. People will be like, well, at least he went off script.
Didn't see that coming. You really yes-anded that.
He was convinced not to have a bio like Nathan Abshire, I'll tell you that.
Nathan. Good old Nathan. Just because I said something about it, I want to get to at least just one of these Gallman tips here. And this is one that I'm not a comedian. I'm not writing comedy. I come here a lot. I don't know what I think of this one.
Okay.
This is from the other day, within the last week. Number 68, to be precise, from Gary Gallman. Don't give it up for your host, or give yourselves a big hand, or how's everybody doing tonight? You could do another minute of jokes in the time you waste on this clap trap, especially foolish if you only have 5 minutes.
A minute for the... Wow.
He's saying skip that whole give it up for your comics and give it up for this and that. I don't see a problem with that.
I think if you're doing like if I'm doing like an industry showcase, I'm not going to be like, hey, keep it going for that guy.
Yeah, you go out on the late night, keep going for Conan.
Actually, that's super funny,
sure,
and I would totally do that, except they don't give a shit about me.
Conan, wow. God, come on, really?
Really, he's bounced back from that Leno thing, and that's the most impressive. No,
Andy, he's sitting over there. Come on, Andy Richter.
Andy came back. Who saw that coming? Wow.
You, Andy, how you doing?
How'd the solo gig go? Never mind. We don't have time for it. All right. No, that's. But
that's a great.
If I'm doing like a 5-minute spot, I wouldn't. I think also, I walk onto stage and I'll say, keep it going for Mike, while I take the mic out of the stand.
Yeah.
So it's just to not be doing that sort of naked, I guess. Mm-hmm. But I think that in a way that could just be like a comfort blanket for me personally. Yeah, you know what I mean?
I agree with you. Like in clubs it's fine, but if it's like, you're auditioning for something or doing like a set where every second counts, it's like in here it's like you can do however much time you want on these nights.
And also like especially if I'm out of town, I don't do it.
Yeah.
I go on stage and do my jokes, and then say thanks at the end of the set instead of trying to, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like if I'm out of town, I just do my set. But yeah, I tend to ruin the room if I go off script too much at the front end.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I kill the vibe. I really need to get them set in, and then I can.
That
play around
Skittles
a little bit.
Thing was masterful on Tuesday.
I thought it was really fun.
Like, could you not eat that?
No, that was what I said that to the other guy.
Wait, he was eating something?
No, I said the one guy that was talking for like 10 minutes.
Oh, about the weed.
Yeah, I said to him, I suggested to him that he not do that right now.
You had a great riff about he was like, it's not a drug deal, and you're like, well, it's not that important.
Well, what I asked him, I was like, because they had been talking, and I was doing a joke that, let's be honest, it wasn't going super well. It's a long, involved joke. I did it too early in the set. It was going okay, but there's like a lot of parts where it's just me talking. Yeah. And he was talking to his date off and on for about 10 minutes of the set. And so finally I was like, hey man, are you guys okay? Is everything okay? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, what are you talking about then? And he goes, weed. And I was like, okay. Do you think that maybe there's a better time for you to do that? And he said, maybe. And I was like,
maybe?
Yeah, he said, maybe. And then I was like, okay, well, let's just hypothesize with me. I'm not trying to be a jerk right now, but when do you think might be a better time?
This is fantastic.
And then he goes, maybe after the show. Did he say it?
Yeah, he said.
Yeah, I think he said it, and then I was like, okay, yeah, you know what? I think we're onto something here.
Good answer.
And then I turned back to the crowd, and then I was like, wait, are you selling weed? Are you like selling her weed? And he's like, no. And then I'm like, well, then I can definitely fucking wait.
You were a very guidance counselor.
I've been trying to
talked him through it,
not get angry at that.
Yeah.
as much as I used to, because I used to like have this sort of vibe of like, you're fucking my shit up and I'm mad at you, and then it's impossible to go back into my persona where I'm like, hey, life's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like it's a very weird disconnect. So I've been trying when I have to say something to someone to be much more playful, or to take the anger out. I've been reading a lot about how Inuits teach their children. So this is this weird thing I just read. When I say reading a lot, one article yesterday. All right. But apparently Inuits never raise their voice to their children. Like, the traditional teaching is that what they do, like if the child's acting out, is they sit down with them and do a little story play about what just happened, but never in anger. It's like, it's considered shameful to raise your voice to a child in their culture because you're acting like a child. And so they're all like super I mean, this is also like historically, like the Western civilization that's kind of encroached on them has changed that a lot.
Okay, makes sense.
But there's like there's a sociologist that went out there like in the 70s and learned all these really interesting things. And so weirdly, when you don't show anger to a child when it does something wrong, it teaches a child how to, because they know you're angry, but when you don't show it, they learn how to manage their emotions better. And it was just this like really fascinating. I don't know. I got kind of.
I wish I was raised
far afield. Yeah, right. But yeah, like it's like when the child does something wrong. Like for instance, like one of the examples they use in the article is like a child hits somebody. The mother sits down with the child, and once the child's calmed down a little bit, and says, why did you hit me? Why'd you hit? Do you want to hit me? And then sometimes with a young enough child, the child will hit the mom, and then the mom, without being angry, says, "Ow. Why do you want to hurt me?" And they walk the child through the decision-making process of being angry.
This sounds kind of like the thing that people complain about when they see it in public, where it's like a kid's misbehaving and then the mom or dad comes over. It's like, now, Timmy, this is not how we, like they crouch down. I'm going to get to your level, and I'm going to...
I do hear a lot of complaints about that. I mean...
But it still seems different enough to where it's like, it's more like the Inuits do like kind of a mirror thing where it's more therapeutic.
Right.
Where in our culture, it's more like a judgmental...
It's instruction.
Yeah.
Like the one of the big takeaways is that they use a lot more storytelling, where it's like the storytelling is the instruction, but it's masked and it's easier to learn. Because like we're much more inclined to understand stories than we are instruction.
Sure.
Like in our culture, even if you do it in a nice way where you come down to the kid, you say, we don't do that. Instead of, I want to tell you a story. And then you tell them the story of what just happened. And for some reason, human brains, especially younger formative ones, because they haven't developed as much prefrontal cortex, which is why children are more prone to emotional outbursts. Mm-hmm. But like all of that is also learned, because the brain's pathways, like the more you use whatever part, the more developed it gets.
What were you looking at right before you found this article online yesterday, or whenever it was? How did you get here?
Inuit porn.
NPR.
They were talking about something. You Googled it, or?
No. I was just like looking at their Facebook page. I like a lot of their articles, honestly.
Okay.
But
it was a story they were doing.
Yeah, it was a story that they did, and it was a part of it was about the researcher that initially went out that found that the Inuit adults like never expressed anger at her. She stayed with them for like a winter and lived with this family, and one of the things she wrote was like, even though they were very frequently angry with me, no one ever expressed anger. And it was also super uncommon to see anger expressed for anyone. Like someone would spill, like in an ice igloo, spill tea all over the floor and ruin the floor, and then the person that spilled the tea was just like, that's unfortunate, I'll brew another pot of tea. Or like a fishing line that they spent hours braiding snapped on the first use, and someone just said, better sew it together.
Maybe they were just really stoned.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Maybe they invented edibles.
Yeah, the fucking seal blubber with THC coating.
My roommate started doing CBD oil.
Yeah.
Oh, what a crock of shit.
Do you really think so? I've noticed the change.
Modern day snake oil.
I've noticed a change, but it's
Modern day
not.
snake oil.
I think he feels more relaxed, but to me, it's way more disconnected. Like it's just like we don't talk anymore. And I feel like a chick. I mean, not that that's
he
bad,
just
but
sits there rubbing balm on himself silently while Nate has a one-sided
no, it's just
about
like
Inuit parents.
it just.
I'm
It's just
listening.
like
I'm listening.
no, it's a weird vibe. I don't know.
Spilled CBD oil on my crotch. How unfortunate.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't trust that shit.
I don't trust it either. If it's zombifying you, that's why I fucking got off weed, because I was just getting panic attacks, and I was like, maybe I should just smoke indica, and then it's like I'm just catatonic. Like I can't do anything.
So you're not
I'm
using
off everything.
everything. Sober.
I'm off fucking everything. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, my mania is on the upswing. Hell yeah, dude.
Let's go.
Are we celebrating this?
Nowhere to go but up, baby. Yeah.
Boy.
You know, roller coasters, they only go up, man.
And I'm a roller coaster, baby.
I'm the wild thing. Yeah.
Nothing but up.
Yeah, nothing but up. That's the mantra for this year. Nothing but up, lick it and stick it.
There it is.
Yeah.
Lick it and stick
I don't like. This is my year. This is the year of the pig.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, like my
Companion animals.
Yeah, yeah.
It's meant to be.
I knew I got those for a reason. Also, they're the cheapest.
Yeah, times are tight and pillars of eternity.
They are, dude. My fucking fortress got raided.
That's tough.
Not a
That's
gold,
tough.
dude.
How about Fortnite? Are you into that?
No, I play exclusively right now. I'll either play MTG Arena, or I'll play Paper Magic, or I'll play Pillars of Eternity, which is made by Obsidian. It's an incredible RPG. Obsidian is the same company that made like the OG Fallout games.
Yes. Something
so-
I've heard of.
They also made Neverwinter Nights too.
Yeah, they just unlike Bethesda, they just keep producing bangers. You know what I mean? Like Pillars of Eternity.
Well, Bethesda's had one bad game.
Okay, well, you know what? That's enough for me to.
I mean,
I'm
it's
all
one.
Obsidian.
It was one.
For God's sakes, the clicker on Pillars of Eternity is a gauntlet glove. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
brand new. They've
right
never
down
done
to the
that before in a
detail.
video game.
Right down to the detail. I got a little club to guide my pigs. Yeah.
Jesus. Is there anything
No,
else?
I don't like Fortnite.
You don't like
also.
Fortnite? No.
No, I'm not into it.
I watched one of my kids play it the other day, and it was.
It's too much to keep up with. I like kind of slower things.
Oh.
Yeah, like Pillars of Eternity, it's not online. You're not playing with other people. You're just doing quests that can lead into, you know, like any RPG, a ton of side quests. And they have like 2 new expansions already, so.
My daughter had the volume up on the. She was playing through my PlayStation, playing Fortnite, and I walked in the room. Was like, "All right, first thing, turn the volume down. I don't need to hear these other kids talking. Like, this is obnoxious."
Are they still really insensitive online?
What do you think?
They're like, fuck you.
You know what? I'm just gonna guess and say yes. I don't know because I had her turn it down so fast. It was just these young shrill voices. Like, no. I'll let you play this in my living room.
I remember listening to Joey Vincent bully kids on Grand Theft Auto Online. I won't get into specifics because he'll get mad, but it was not things you say to children.
Oh man,
Terrible.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we should be mentioning before we cut loose here?
Hit up the I Love You Man a podcast.
There you go.
On iTunes and listen.
Yeah. It's magic.
Yeah. I'm gonna be at the Double Down Comedy Festival in Las Vegas, Nevada, this April 25th through 26th. No, 25th to 27th.
And if you got those dates wrong, where can they double check them?
Double Down Comedy Fest in Google, and then whatever website it takes you to.
Oh, can we do dates?
Sure.
Okay, these are the local ones. So it's like May 3rd and 4th. Actually, that's in Fargo, but I'm headlining Comedy in the Cellar in Fargo May 3rd and 4th. May 9th and 10th, I'm headlining Sisyphus Brewing, and then May 23rd and 24th, I'm headlining the Comedy Corner Underground.
Nice.
So those are my next big local things.
Nice.
And if you're out in Los Angeles, please come see me at the Comedy Store Monday, March 25th, because the more people that come, the more time I get, and that's called a bringer show.
There you go.
That's the bringer show.
Bringer show.
Bring 'em.
All right.
Bring them. I never
It's
bring 'em.
Nate's searching something.
doubledowncomedyfestival.com. That's what I thought it would be, but I didn't want to say the wrong thing. It's going to be super fun. Garfunkel and Oates and Christopher Titus are the headliners.
Oh, I've seen both of them. All of them. All three of them. For
I think both in this scenario.
Does both work for that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. To follow all my goings on, it's at just Mike Lester on all social media platforms.
Mine's at Nate Abshire.
Yeah. See, Mike Lester is a political cartoonist as well. And, I used to get tagged. He's alt-right, so I get tagged in these alt-right cartoons.
Oh, that's amazing.
Shit, it's horrible
That's amazing.
followers. Like, you showed Obama what for this week? And I'm like, what's happening on my Twitter feed That's awesome.
There's a comic in Seattle named Gary Larson,
Yeah.
who was a comic when The Far Side became the biggest thing in the fucking world in the 90s. He had to change his name. Which sucks.
I thought you were going to say Gary Paulson, like the Hatchet author. Sixth graders keep following me.
Fellas, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Let's do it again.